ABC.
I'm gonna challenge you right now. Come up with a name for it right now, and we'll claim it right here on the Beatnation, on the Sting on the Beat podcast on Beatnation, and this will forever be its name, and you cannot change it from now on. Come up with one. First, let's hear the sound first. Let's have everyone hear the sound first. Can you give us a demo?
The most general drop that I have for now is yeah.
Beatnation, that's what's up. Beatnation. Hello guys, welcome to Staying on the Beat podcast, brought to you by Beatnation. Today, I want to give you guys a little heads up what time it is. We're now recording this way after midnight. We just finished the Werewolf Beatbox Championship 2019. I'm here with my friend Stitch.
What's up?
Stitch, please introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? How long have you been doing it?
Okay, so my name is Stitch. I'm 19. I'm actually from Negeri Sembilan, Malaysia. I'm currently studying, but beatboxing is also a very good hobby of mine. So that's why I'm here with the gang in Indonesia for Werewolf competition.
Right, so just a little reference point here. Stitch is he competed in the name of Malaysia, and I think he went further than any other Malaysian ever for the Werewolf Beatbox Champ. Is that right?
I think I'm the second one. I believe the first one was JP from last year. He got top 4 in under 18.
Alright, but now he's in the big boys league and he got top 4, so I think that trumps what JP did. So first things first, congratulations, man.
Thanks, man.
You were one of the 3 solo Malaysian beatboxers that went through, right?
Yeah, myself, HTC, and Badro.
Yeah, and then he went all the way to semi-finals, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so for those of you who might not know Stitch yet, I can tell you that he's gonna blow up real quick because he's got some backing. Some really big people, in some pretty high places believe in what he can do. Some people are very impressed with what he can do. So some people are like gonna help push him on Instagram and all that. So, Stitch, why don't you tell us how you started off beatboxing before you get famous and you don't want to join our podcast anymore?
Well, I was at my sister's school. I still remember I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I was not feeling very well, so I was just sitting in her school hall. They had this carnival on, right? And then this dude just popped out on stage and he just started beatboxing. He's Coax. I think a lot of Malaysian beatboxers will know him, right?
Well, you were live in Coax was around?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, but yeah, he was doing this very cool beat. It was a pretty simple beat, but back then I think it was one of the most dopest beats ever. It was just, and I was like, oh, that's dope. So I literally just sat on my chair and I tried to do it, and I could do it, So
immediately.
Immediately.
Like no training, no YouTube tutorial, just.
No, I just tried to do it and I could do it, Maybe not as clean, but I could do it, So I was like, I'm good at this. Let's try to practice. So,
how old were you at this time?
I was 12.
12. So, okay, what year was that?
2012.
2012. You were born in the year 2000.
Yeah.
Millennial baby right here. Remember when the whole 2000 thing was just a myth? Now it's it's happening. So you said you were studying just now. What were you studying? What are you studying?
I just finished my first year of foundation in Inti University in Nilai. Mm-hmm. So I just started my first semester in mass communication degree.
Right.
So yeah.
Speaking of foundation, let's talk about your beatbox foundation. So actually, one thing I find amazing is your first beat that you ever learned was that the.
Yeah.
It was technically your first beat, right? No tutorial, just watched it.
Yeah.
Okay, but how did you just watch and then just capture it immediately?
I think it's something that I'm naturally, not to brag, but I'm good at. I have this thing where a lot of times I just see stuff and I can do it. Even for music like piano or guitar, a lot of times I just listen to music and I just try playing it by ear and it works out. So yeah, it helps a lot with my music lah.
Wow. So okay, that's a very. Can you see a painting and then you can draw it?
Okay, I'm not that talented lah. I'm not that talented.
Can you see a gymnast and suddenly you can do a triple backflip kind of stuff?
I think I'll probably die.
So it's only music related.
It's only music stuff.
So you see people play the cajon or the drums and you can almost replicate it to a small degree.
To a small degree,
you can replicate it. Okay, cool. Now, when you started off, do you have a particular sound effect that you really like to do when you started off? Before we get into your current sound effects,
okay.
But what was your favorite sound effects when you started off?
Oh, back then when I started when I was 12, I think the main thing back then was drum beats, dubstep, which was and throat bass, back then I remember I could not do throat bass. Like I couldn't do throat bass for 3 years. I only learned it 2 years ago. No,
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Last year. So which is why, in all's opinion, after beatboxing for 1 month I quit. Because I could not do throat bass. All my beatbox idols on YouTube could like legit do throat bass and I couldn't do it. You know? And then I started back in 2015. I was 15. So
Okay.
I didn't really have a thing back then, but when I started back in 2015, I think the main thing I wanted to learn was the inward bass click roll.
Alright.
Because I think BR, who is the current Vice World Champion, he made a video on Swiss Beatbox that went viral where it was a that video, and then he did the drop that consisted of that sound, and that was super dope. So I tried learning that sound, and then at that moment, like BR was like my pinnacle. That was like the level I wanted to reach.
Yeah. So you got back because of PR, because you wanted, simply because of sound effect. You wanted to learn inward click roll bass.
Yeah.
Like that. So you gave up on throat bass and you learn inward bass.
Yeah, I saw it as an alternative to throat bass.
Okay. What did you do in that gap, in that time that you were not beatboxing? Did you do anything in particular musically?
Musically, I just went for piano lessons, guitar lessons. I was writing songs back then, but in terms of beatboxing, I really didn't do anything. I was just like a normal teenage dude in high school.
How do you find that? Well, okay. So the question is, did your piano learning or piano skills, could you reincorporate that into your beatboxing?
Recently I tried that, but back then it was hard. But recently I've been finding it works a bit.
Right. Okay, talk to me about Werewolf. This is not your first time, right?
It's my second time.
Second time. Alright. Tell me about last year's Werewolf. Tell me
Year-
about the emotional turmoil you went through.
Last year was shit. I didn't make it through. Okay, I was like bursting in tears in my room. Okay, but yeah, last year was super dope because like I remember K-pop came down. For those of you who don't know, it's Napalm and Kenny Urban. Yeah, so all of them, come on, Napalm. You know, who would want to meet Napalm and like American Beef. You know, Kenny Urban. You know, Poponi's coming down. Everybody wants to get a shout out on Swiss Beatbox. You know, everybody wants to be on Swiss Beatbox. You know, and to not get through that was like pretty. It sucked. You
It's
know?
heartbreaking.
Yeah, but if there's a thing that I learned from a lot of my fellow beatboxers, there's something I learned from my friend Artsy. Losing is also a privilege. I'm actually pretty happy that I didn't win a wildcard back then, because every time you lose or you don't get in, you tend to find things that are your weak points and you can improve from, which is why I believe I went far and well this year. Because I'm pretty sure if I went through last year, I probably would not have improved so much. You know, when you lose, you get to see your bad side, not just a good side. You know.
So how do you improve between? It's just 1 year gap. 1 year gap, you went from not passing eliminations to top 4.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, that's a pretty big improvement. So what do you do to get that level of improvement that quick?
I think
Think of it as tips as well. Like you
Yeah.
want to give people.
for me, like I have this thing where I say like, I think it's really good to do what you like to do and what you're good at. I mean, that's like the foundation. You don't want to do something that you don't like to do, but at times you might want to venture into stuff, even if it's something that you don't like or you think you won't like it. Like snore bass. The first time I listened to it on Swiss Beatbox, I thought it was like the most disgusting bass in the world, in like a bad way. I like, it was gross, and I didn't want to learn it for that simple reason. And I tried to learn it and I actually used it in Werewolf this year.
Yep.
Right. Even for throat bass, I said I couldn't do it, right? And I still can't do it very well. My throat bass is still pretty weak, but I at least got it down a bit, and I have a few routines where I use it. You know, I actually really didn't like going back to that place because, you know, I'm not good at it. I'm the kind of person where I don't like doing stuff that I'm not good at. You know, but sometimes it's good because from your failure, sometimes you get to learn a lot of things. You know, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you should just go along. Sometimes you can learn things from bad stuff. You know, sometimes bad stuff is not necessarily bad stuff. It can be good stuff, depending on how you interpret it. You know.
What's the worst thing that's happened to you that you felt like became the biggest lesson, or which became the biggest improvement for you?
You mean in
It doesn't
life,
have
or-
to be beatbox. It can be life in general.
The
Because
worst-
you're always talking about failure and how it can push you forward, right? What was the biggest failure in your life that pushed you forward?
I think for me this is both life and beatbox. It was one of my teachers in high school was like retiring, right? And then we had this event where like usually have like event for your teachers retiring, right?
Yeah.
So I was performing and in my school.
You're performing.
Yeah.
Do they sing Old Lang Syne, something like that?
Oh no.
No, okay, no. In my school, is always the thing. They always sing that song. Sorry, continue.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, so I was performing, and my school is very known for having the worst sound system in the world, right? And I was beatboxing. I still remember I only beatboxed for like around 5 seconds, and suddenly the sound system just went like that. You
Just
know,
popped. Right?
just popped, and then like nobody could hear me, and like I was 15 in that moment, and I still remember like I went on stage for 5 seconds, beatbox, and then nobody could hear me after that, and everybody started like making names and jokes and bullying me like, oh, this guy is a fake. You know, they thought like I was I recorded something behind it, and I was like probably like lip syncing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I got bullied a lot for that. But 8 months after that, I had like a legit performance with good sound system, and the people in my area, which is Negeri Sembilan, my state, they all came to the event and they saw me. So I think what that taught me is a lot of times in life you cannot get what you want. You're gonna fall into a shithole. You can't just go up all the time. You know, sometimes you have to fall down just to rise up higher. And I think that failure is something that we all need to accept, as much as we don't like it. I don't like to lose. Even today, losing to Piratiban, I really did not like it. But we need those failures, we need those losses to teach us that we can do better than that, and we have much more to go. Because if you're the best, you're not going to try to improve because there's no one better than you, right? But if you're not the best, you have a rival, you have something to chase after, someone to chase after, and I think that's good. It can be something to chase after. It can be a person, it can be an idol, it could be a scholarship, it could be a job, it can be anything. So I think that's like one of the most experiences. It took me like a course of 1 year to learn that.
Pierre came over recently and did a podcast with us. He also had this time when he was in a really dark place for like a year. He went on a personal hiatus on everything.
Yeah.
And he also talked about clawing your way out of a dark place pretty much. How do you crawl out of something so dark?
I think that people around us play an important role, but you know, as much advice that people can give us, you know, they can tell us to do this, tell us to do that, give us this, give us that. At the end of the day, this comes out to our decisions. I believe all of us have had our own fair share of bad stuff in life, and how you get out of there is not based on this person's help or that person's help. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, the decision you make. You know, like my dad could give me a Ferrari, but if I don't drive it, I'm not, you know, it's probably just going to stay there. It's the same thing like that. So even for Pira, at the end of the day, it was his decision that got him out of there. You know?
Yeah.
A long process, but you know, if you just stick your foot in the ground, you know, try your best to just stay there, and then like one day this like summon the courage to just like say, hey, I want to get better, I need to do something. And it's easier said than done, but it's possible. It's not impossible. So, you know, that's one of the main things I believe in.
Alright, so let's talk about Werewolf this year. Like, last year you got knocked out, you cried like a puppy.
Oh, I cried like a...
Okay,
like a
and
fetus.
now you're back. So how did the puppy become a wolf? Let's talk about the mindset. What was your mindset coming into this competition?
Well, honestly, I didn't actually think I was going to make it through, even for wildcards, because I was not really proud of the wildcard I made, because I know my standards, which is here, and the wildcard that I made was probably at this level, and I knew I could do better. But I got through, right? So, and then the battles came, and you know, it's like an international level. I've never been at an international battle before. So to go up against people like Ezza, you know, a Brunei champion, Aboy, people like Rafli, Piratiban, Asian champ, Werewolf champ, they're all participating in. There's a whole lot of pressure. But at the end of the day, like what, again, Archie taught me a lot. There's something Archie taught me. When we come to these battles, it's not just a chance for us to represent our country. Yes, it's good to represent our country, but it's also another opportunity for us to show people, yo, I'm actually better now. Yo, this is how far I've come. It's also another opportunity for us to expand ourselves in terms of where we are in beatboxing, you know. Like, take Rafli for example. You know, just wins Werewolf on Swiss Beatbox once, has 1 million views, and now he's going places. It's the same with Dilo. You know, like a few years back, he was just a UK champion. He was like a two-time UK champion. Then he gets vice champion for Grand Beatbox Battle last year. Just vice, not champion, just vice. And his fan base, his music career is just expanding, you know. So when you go to battles like this, sometimes you think about the many opportunities that you're getting, right? That's one thing. And another thing is also, this is very important, is to have fun, because if you don't have fun, there's no point. like, as much as I didn't like losing to Pratibhan, I actually enjoyed that battle the most among all my 3 battles because we actually really had fun. I still remember like the 2 of us were like sitting on the monitors and it was like it was like the most funniest battle ever. You know, compared to my battle with Arboy and Ezza, where I was having fun, but I was very serious trying to win. In Pratibhan's battle, I didn't really care that much. I was just having fun, and that's a very good thing because beatboxing is not a sport. It shouldn't be taken so seriously. You know, we can have fun because it's an art form. You know, it's a place where you express yourself. You know, so I think that's a very important way of how you can handle the pressure.
Right. Speaking of handling pressure, let's talk about your day. Your day of Werewolf. So the day before you got the announcement that you were through, right?
Yeah.
From the point that you got the announcement last night to tonight, which is you finishing Werewolf, like what was that process? Let's take a step by step into the journey of Stitch.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
It was a pretty nerve-wracking process. I still remember I had to like buy like a bunch of Strepsils packets because the sore throat was killing me. That's one. I had to buy like 2 bottles of aqua mineral water, and I still remember like I practiced until 1:40 in the morning. I still remember that I was practicing and then like Felix came in and I was like, no, it's okay, I'll go downstairs and practice. So I was practicing and it was pretty hard because I was trying to find new stuff.
Yeah.
Because before this, like the Stitch before was just do musical stuff like and I wanted to move something beyond that, which is why I came up with stuff like stuff like that, you know. And yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking because I didn't come up with enough routines, but at the end of the day, sometimes your best is just your best, you know, you just gotta go with it, you know. Even if it's not enough, you just do your best and see how it goes, you know. Because to be honest, I didn't even use a lot of my routines in Werewolf. A lot of the things I did was actually freestyle. Like my battle with Arboy, my first round was planned, my second round was freestyle. And with Ezza, my first round was planned. My second round was just freestyle because I legit forgot my routines. So sometimes preparing too much also can be bad lah. But it was not as nerve-wracking as I thought it would be. I was actually more chill. I was actually like downstairs practicing and singing stuff like baby lock the doors and turn you know, and then like BT just came in. He wanted to like record a shout out with this Indonesian beatboxer.
And he kicked you out of the room, right?
No, I was practicing at the breakfast lounge. Yeah, and I was actually having fun, not compared to my other battles like TCBB and all that, where I was actually like very stressful. No, I need to come up with like 12 routines, you know, because there's going to be maximum 4 rounds, and if each of them has an overtime, it's going to be 3 rounds each, so 4 times 3, that's 12. I need a maximum of 12 routines. But last night I was just, okay, I got 8 routines. If I go to overtime, I don't really care. If I lose, I don't really care. I'm gonna have fun, do my best, you know. It's much more chill compared to my other battles.
Was there any particular person you wanted to battle?
Was there any particular person I wanted to battle? You mean amongst the people that won the wildcards or just?
Yeah, amongst the top 16. Like anyone in particular that you wanted to battle on stage?
Roughly it was one. Pira was one, so I was very happy I got to battle him, even though he kicked my ass. Let's see who else. I wanted to battle Fadil as well. Yeah, right. Because I remember myself, Fadil, Ezza and Pira, we were all in the same bracket. So either way, one of us was going to get kicked out.
Yeah.
You know? So I didn't get to match up with Fadil. I was actually looking forward because Fadil and I are good friends, and he's one of the main people that actually made me start doing inward bass.
Yeah.
You know, before this I just learned the click roll inward bass because of beat, but I never ventured into it or tried beats. But Fadil kind of inspired me, so I wanted to battle him to see how well I could do against him. So yeah, Pira, Rafi, and Fadil, and also Ezza.
Alright.
Those 4 people.
Yeah, so you got Ezza, you got Pira,
yeah.
and Ezza is just the other half of Fadil if you think about it.
Yeah.
So you got Fadil as well.
Equinox, yeah.
Okay, so you brought a lot of new sounds to this particular beatbox battle. You got your or whatever that is. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. It sounds like you are a train that's passing through. You just pull the lever. Yeah, exactly. So let's start with that sound. Talk to me. How do you make up that sound? How do you create that sound?
Oh, it's actually, as in like how I created or how I came up with it?
Doesn't that mean the same thing?
Okay, so how I found the sound was actually 4 years ago. like 1 year after I started beatboxing, but I never really used that sound because I didn't see anybody using it, and I was a dumb guy, so I had a new sound, but I was like, I'm not gonna use it
Because no one else used it.
exactly, and then out of nowhere, two H's come out. It's like, I just want to vibrate, and I'm just like,
You just want to what?
his lyrics is I just want to vibrate.
Okay, got it.
Jesus, okay. But yeah, and then he started using it, and everybody went mad. I was just like, I could do that. Why didn't I do it? Speaking of which, I should make a video to claim my new sound.
That's what this video is about. Now, tell us how you make the sound.
Okay, so there's two ways from what I can think of. The first way is either you get a sore throat. I find a lot of people that get sore throat get the sound easily. So when they get a sore throat, their canal is blocked. So like this is your throat. When your canal is blocked, there's always something in the middle or the side. So when your air comes out, your air is split in two. So there's two notes. So that's how you get like that. But that's a risky one because you need to get sore throat. So another one which I found recently from teaching people like beatsy, roughly and all that, is that you just tighten your throat, like like how we do throat bass and all that, and then just go yeah. So tighten until you get
No, that didn't work.
but yeah. So you will get like a small roll when you first start forcing it, so like then once in a while, after you start doing it, it becomes like muscle memory and you don't need to use too much air. You can just like that.
No. I'll try this later after the podcast.
Cool.
Okay, so this is one sound. What about the other sound?
I have a few sounds. Some which I did not use in Werewolf. Like I used it in the Fortress battle, which AFQ won. Yeah, this was I think it was this year. Yeah, it was this year. So I usually use it in corporate. It was last year. Oh, okay, cool. So I usually use it like instead of cause like humming and beatboxing. So I think it's a pretty cool concept, which is pretty old school, but not many people use it except in tag teams. So I started venturing more into it because I was given advice that maybe I should venture more into melody, because I'm good at musicality. So I started doing it. Like that. And I started combining that, but I didn't use it in Werewolf because I had an all routine for it, but I didn't want to use it because I wanted to bring 100% new stuff to the stage.
Alright, how do you make it sound? How do you make that sound?
So it's almost like a click roll, but in a click roll in an inward click roll, you just roll your tongue backwards, but you roll the tip, right? So you get like that. So you have to do the same thing, but imagine this is your tongue, and for a click roll you do this, right? But for this sound, this is the roof of your mouth. You have to bend your tongue like this. Put it there.
Yeah, bend it backwards?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the part that's gonna vibrate is this part. It's not your tip, it's this part, but it's going out, it's not in. So this is your roof. Put your tongue backwards like this. This part, the middle part, is gonna vibrate against your roof, but it's not moving. It's just staying there. Only that part is vibrating. So yeah, that's how I do.
No, I'm getting something else. What?
Yeah. You can even roll it after a while. You can just like that. So there's two things you can do.
And then there's one final sound. This sound is what you're becoming famous for as of Werewolf 2019. Can you tell us, would you have a name for it?
Oh, I was given a few suggestions. ABC.
I'm gonna challenge you right now. Come up with a name for it right now, and we'll claim it right here on the Beatnation, on the Sting on the Beat podcast on Beatnation, and this will forever be its name, and you cannot change it from now on. Come up with one. First, let's hear the sound first. Let's have everyone hear the sound first. Can you give us a demo?
The most general drop that I have for now is yeah. So that is the sound. It's like a very vocal ish thing.
Okay, so let's come up with a name for it right now.
A name for it.
Yeah. Let's think. Well, your name is Stitch, so shall we call it the Lilo?
No, I really, honestly speaking, I hate that joke.
I got the perfect name for it. I call it the 626 vocal.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty cool. Okay, I'll tell you why I hate the joke first. Okay, so in my university, right, everybody calls me Stitch, even though nobody's a beatboxer. Even my lecturers call me Stitch. Coincidentally, there's another girl in my class, and her name is Lilo. So the lecturer's like, "Hey, Lilo, where's your friend? You know, where's your boyfriend?" I'm like, Lilo and Stitch were like brothers and sisters, and now you're like,
no, it's more like
incest,
girl and puppy. This is not brothers.
Yeah,
and
so
sisters.
what's the word when you like have sexual relations with your pet?
Bestiality.
That's worse. Yeah, you know.
There's a word. It's called bestiality.
Yeah, it's worse. You know. And I don't like her, by the way. So when you put that together, even like when they were announcing the wildcards, okay, next wildcard winner from Malaysia, Lilo's best friends, and I was like, damn it, man. Like before they even said my name, I was just like, sometimes.
Okay, cool. So let's confirm on the name. I like 626 because Stitch is experiment 626, right? I wouldn't use the. How about we call it the 626 trumpet? Or the 626.
I've had like two good suggestions. One of it is the 626 from you, and one which ABC gave, which is the Stitch Talk. But I think I'm just gonna go with 626, just 626.
Just the numbers.
Just the number 626.
626 effect lah. Let's have.
I'm sorry, BT.
Okay, let's just call it the 626 effect, because if not, people will think it's.
Yeah, I think that's a dope name. 626 effects.
Oh, nice! High five, man.
Yeah.
Good job, Riel. Okay. So how do you make the sound? Okay. So Stitch has been trying to teach me the sound. I have not, for the life of me, I do not know where the air is coming from.
Nobody knows.
So he's gonna stitch it. He's gonna teach it, and then I'll try it one more time. But if you guys get it, or if you guys like have any more questions, just comment down below. Stitch, once his video is up, just go to the comment section. If there's any questions directed to Stitch, maybe Stitch can answer it. All right. But in the meantime, okay, talk us through the sound that you're becoming world famous for.
World famous, well, that's an exaggeration. Okay, so there's two ways that I know of, okay? So the first way is the way that I learned it from, and the second way is another way which RC kind of broke it down, okay? So the first way is through something called head voice. So this is something that singers are very commonly used for. So you have three levels with your singing voice. One is your normal voice, right? Which is da-da-da, da-da-da, and then you have your falsetto, da-da-da-da-da-da. And then you have your head voice. Your head voice sounds like your normal voice, but it's higher than your falsetto. People like Sam Smith and all that use their head voice. So it sounds like, can I lay? That's actually head voice. So the reason why they call it head voice is because you can actually, when you use head voice, you can actually feel it in your head, right? So I don't know why, but when I use head voice, it actually opens my throat up in a certain way. And once it opens up, I just need to tighten my throat even more and then just say anything like booty, like that, stuff like that. So that's one way. I'm not sure if it will work for other people, because other people have not tried it, because head voice is not something very easy to learn. So the second version is through burping. Okay, I'm not gonna burp in the mic because that's disgusting. So you need to learn how to burp voluntarily. Yes, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm stuttering so much. Okay.
Hey, no problem.
Thank you.
It's late.
Yeah, it's very, very late. Okay, so the way to do this is you inhale air, but you leave it in your throat. So one thing I teach people is like, for guys, it's very easy. It's like you just touch your Adam's apple here, right? And you just inhale air, and you keep it there. So the way to know that you keep it there is when you inhale air, your Adam's apple goes forward, right? Mm-hmm. So when you keep it there,
forward as in up or down?
Up. Right? So if you keep the air there, your Adam's apple just stays there. It doesn't go back in. So that's how you keep the air in, number one. Right? So then after you inhale air, just release it, and then you get a burp.
Nothing's coming out. No, I got nothing.
Okay, so to burp, you're not supposed to tighten your throat. You're supposed to like release it, like that.
No, nothing.
Okay.
I've never been able to burp voluntarily.
Well, it's an amazing skill. I was planning to use it in a battle, but I didn't want to burp in a mic.
Sorry, start choking.
That would be disgusting. But yeah, so when you voluntarily burp, there's like a few stages. One is you inhale, and then your throat opens up, and then you burp. So you want to get to the second phase. You want to ignore the third phase. So when you get to the second phase, you get this tiny pop in your throat that sounds like this. like that. It's a very soft sound. Okay, I'll do it one more time. Right? That tiny sound.
I got nothing.
Yeah, that tiny sound is an indicator that your throat has opened up and it's getting ready to burp. What you need to do is don't burp. So the air that you inhaled earlier and kept here, keep it there. Then open your throat, get that small sound, that small tuck sound, and then whatever you do, just say anything, you know, wah wah na na, like you know how you do throat bass and you're like whoa 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 whoa, same thing, you know, you know.
No, I got it.
You need to get the part first. You need to get that part first. Once you get that, then you're good. So, and it's not like if you guys learn late blows and all that, you know it's a pretty annoying sound to learn because like you can probably get this at first.
Yeah.
And then you practice and you get, and then you get, right? You practice over time and then it gets better. This sound is not like that. Once you get the technique right, and technique in the sense where you get that tuck opening. Once you get that opening right, you get that sweet spot, you already can do the sound. You don't need to like practice and.
So there's almost no learning curve.
No,
it's not like a progression. It's like pump, you get it and you get it.
You just need to open it right. Everybody has a different throat, different lips, so you just get to find your sweet spot. You get it.
Oh, it's one of those sounds that to me it's annoying because there's no way for you to progress to get closer to it.
Yeah, there's no way of knowing whether you're doing better or no. You just have to try your best, see whether you get it or not.
Right. Okay, back to Werewolf. Do you feel like... Sorry, what was your favourite part about this year's Werewolf Beatbox Championship?
I feel that
Do you have a moment that really stand out?
I think it was the so-called workshops. I mean, we were supposed to have a workshop, but then like we were way behind schedule. So like each judge, like Alem, Matt Twins, Paponi, Dilo, right? Am I missing out on anybody?
Alem, Matt Twins, Paponi, Dilo. Yeah, you got everyone.
Great. So everybody was supposed to give a workshop over the span of 1 hour, which I'm presuming each person gives like 15 minutes. Like even Matt Twins like together give 15 minutes of workshop, right? But we couldn't. So like every person just gave like 1 or 2 sentences each, except for Paponi. He actually like talked some really deep stuff for like 5 minutes. But the thing that really hit me was Alem, what Alem said. Because before, I felt very pathetic before this because I didn't really believe in my wildcard. But all my other friends, my Malaysian friends, my Indonesian friends, my Singaporean friends were like, oh, you can do it, you can definitely get in. And I got in. And that was something that Alem said really hit me hard because somebody asked him a question during the Q&A and it was, what's a really good battle attitude? And his reply was, confidence is the key. And you kind of say confidence because it's a very diverse subject. So what he says is, in simple words, is what he said was, don't care what other people say. You just do what you like to do. No matter what, when you go on the stage, you just do whatever beat you like. You in your head, you just play it back like, yeah, this beat is dope. This beat is dope. You don't care about the judges. You don't care about the audience. You don't care about your friend who's helping you make the beat. You have that thing playing in your head like, yo, my beat is dope. My beat is dope. And another thing he said was, don't be afraid to perform. Take the mic and do your best. And that was like good stuff because I have been, not to say doubting, I had a very different style back then, which was just musicality. And this Werewolf, I tried something very new, which was very nerve-wracking because I was not sure if it was going to work, if the crowd was going to react well. And then what he said was like mind-blowing because I really loved my beats. And once he said that, it was just like confirmation, like, yo, I can do this. You know, so that really took a whole pressure down, you know, because it really helped me get through Werewolf because if not, I would not have enjoyed my beats that much. I would not have been able to do it as well as I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. I thought you were gonna say the fact that Dilo took a video of you, but you know that's just me. Okay, that's a different story for a different time. Okay, do you have any future battle plans? You know, now that you suddenly have this confidence of battling.
Future
right?
battle plans.
Yeah.
I went for a Great North battle this year. I didn't win a wild card, you know, but Inertia won. Inertia won, and DJ Bean got vice champion, and because of that, Inertia is going to GBB. And there was a lot of things I learned from Great North battle, like the community, the style, the way they judge wildcards, the way they battle, and it really got my attention, which is why I feel like next year I will probably go back again to try it. Doesn't matter whether I win a wild card, doesn't matter if I win the whole thing, I don't really mind. I just want to go there and learn and expand my beatbox vocabulary, you could say, because you can learn a lot of things from going to different places. Just from coming to Indonesia last year for the previous Werewolf, I actually learned a good number of things. From meeting people like Napalm, right? He just talked to us until 3 a.m. and just talk basic stuff that nobody practices. And you can learn a lot of things. So I think mixing around, not just with your own community, but outside community, is actually very, very important. You can learn a lot of things. So I think for future battle plans, I think I'm going to go for GNB, and probably going to focus on both GNB and the next Werewolf.
Yeah.
And also probably Asia Championships. I'm probably just going to make another wildcard. Just keep on trying. I think making wildcards is good, because even if you don't get in, next year you make a wildcard, you can see how much you progress. So every year you can just track yourself. I need to work on this, or I need to work on this. Hey, I improved on this, like that. So make wildcards. So for now, I'm just focusing on Great North Battle and Werewolf.
Alright, cool. So just to end this, let's talk about Stitch. Okay. Your real name's Michael Gabriel Smith.
Yeah.
It's the most like Mat Saleh name ever.
I look so Indian, right?
Michael Gabriel and Smith. Okay, but how did Stitch come about? Why did you choose the name Stitch? What's the story behind that? How did you stitch that together?
Okay, so 2016. This was right after. No, this was before Armageddon, and Armageddon's a beatbox battle in Malaysia, by the way. So
it's the werewolf beatbox of Malaysia.
Yes.
Armageddon.
Anyway, so GBB wildcards were open, and I just remember I was on the last day. It was the deadline, and I was like, it was 11:55. I had 5 minutes to post the video, and my Wi-Fi at home was like shit, like so bad. Like this upload a 2-minute video, it would take like so long. So I was thinking of what name I wanted to put. And back then, for those of you who know me from high school, whatever, you know I'm a very quiet kid, very shy, and not so confident and talkative like now. And so I was not confident in using the name Michael, right? So I wanted another name, like a stage name, right? And I realized that a lot of people have already been calling me Stitch before I even started beatboxing, because I can talk like this, just like Stitch, means family, the stuff like that. So I put Stitch, and I worked my way through Stitch with like TCBB and all that. And then recently I was like thinking, maybe I should switch it to Michael again, because I felt like I was how do I say? I felt like my confidence was being blocked by this persona which I created, which in a way was Stitch, which doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it makes sense to me. Okay. Yeah, so
No, it's okay, it's fine. So the Joker had this thing where Joker used to say, give a man,
Batman Joker?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Say that, give a man a mask and he'll show him his true self, because there is an avatar for you to hide behind.
Yes.
So that you can really showcase, because you don't fear the judgment, because it's not you, it's the mask that's on top.
Yeah.
So that's probably what Stitch was for you.
Yeah.
But sorry, just continue.
Yeah, Stitch was that for me, because even though I got more confident on the stage, right? When I went back to high school, I was still a quiet kid. I go on stage, probably people all on me is, TCBB champ, this guy, whatever, kawan dengan Acik, kawan dengan Azul, semua, right? But when I went back to school, I was still that same old loser that kena bully and all that, And I wanted to be the same confident me that I was on stage. I wanted to be like that everywhere else in life. So I made a decision like a few weeks ago. I was gonna change it to Michael, which I did. I even like changed I was so like dedicated to it. I even like changed my Instagram name to like Michael Smith, like, And then like I had a talk with Dilo earlier, and I told him why, and he told me that real confidence is being able to see past that. In a sense where I could still call myself Stitch in battles, but I do not let that overwhelm me, Like Michael is still here, like the main guy, Stitch is just a way of expressing my music. Which, by the way, I have to admit that Stitch is like a really cool name. Michael for a beatbox battle name is, I have to admit.
Yeah, I wonder who told you that.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Dilo told me that also. ABT told me that also. You know? But after what he told me, I decided to give it a try. I'm still very... I'm still not sure about it, but I'm giving it a try. When I become a GBB champion, very life experience guy, saw me do this, so I'm just trying to see how it goes. And I think it's a good step because I'm not trying to let something as simple as a name overpower me. I think what he's trying to tell me is like, you should be in control of everything you do, and that's like real confidence, you know. I can still have Stitch and still be Michael at the same time. Stitch is just an extension, you know. Before this, I thought Stitch was being me. It's more like a bodysuit, but it's actually just an extension.
Yeah.
You know, so back to Stitch. You know, my Instagram also Stitch underscore beatbox, you know. Okay.
Self-plug.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to end this, I would like to pitch an idea to you. Since you are now in contact with Dido, you know, he took a video of you, he's gonna upload a tag of you. You and him should form a tag team called, wait for it, Dilo and Stitch. Okay guys, thank you very much for coming on to the podcast. This was the Steak on the Beat podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Beatnation everywhere, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Just check out Beatnation, subscribe, comment down below your questions, and stay tuned for the next podcast. Thanks guys, thanks Stitch for coming along. Give Dilo a call and see if we can form that tag team. Okay guys, good night.
Beatnation, it's what's up.